Good evening, everybody. It's Monday, March 24th, 2025 at 6 p.m. and I'll call to order the Board of Select meeting. Today's meeting will be in person as well on Zoom. This meeting will be recorded and will be available on the town's YouTube page. Tonight we'll be going into executive session and then coming back into open session. We will be going into executive session for the following reasons. 1, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, and I do. Number 2, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel for the town accountant. And number 3, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real estate, if the chair so declares, and I do, that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion made.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman
We
Lopes?
need
Yes.
a roll call vote?
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes. Sorry, what was that, Mark?
No, I was just going to confirm the roll call vote.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. We usually get the first couple down. It's after that.
I'm too quick on the draw. on that one.
All right, so we are now in executive session. All right, we are now back in open session from executive session. Next on our agenda is a presentation from Girl Scout Troop 77318. And they're here to request to install some butterfly houses.
Great.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Michelle Hecht. I am the troop leader of this wonderful, talented troop. I'm going to give them each a minute to introduce themselves. Girls, if you could say who you are and what town you're from, because we are a troop that represents a couple of towns. Your name and town?
My name is Ella and I live in Lakeville.
Thank you.
My name is Emily and I'm from Freetown.
My name is Quinn and I'm from Freetown.
My name is Emma and I'm from Freetown.
Excellent. So I'm sure you're all very familiar with Girl Scouts. One of the things that Girl Scouts do, even at a very young age, is try to work on contributing to their community and helping society in some way. And so these girls approached a badge recently, and we had to decide what it was they were going to do to take action to make their community a better place. And so, girls, what was it you came up with as your problem that you wanted to help solve?
To save monarch butterflies because they're endangered.
Very good. Okay. So they didn't just come up with one thing they wanted to do. They came up with 3 things they wanted to do.
Love it.
Yes. So the first thing they came up with was what, girls? What did we make?
Food.
Yes.
We made seed bombs.
We made seed bombs to help feed them, right? And we're going to be giving seed bombs out at some upcoming events, like maybe the egg hunt, right? What was another solution you came up with?
By painting butterfly houses. And making shelter for them because they're running out of shelter places.
Yes, and so who made us the butterfly houses? Because someday we'll be able to make them ourselves, but it's a little bit challenging. So who helped us? Does anybody remember? Yes, Quinn?
Actually, no, I don't.
That's okay.
Teenagers.
Yes, teenagers. So we called on the help of the 2 vocational schools that support Freetown and Lakeville. So Old Colony and Bristol Plymouth were both very willing to help us out. We paid, of course, for supplies with troop money that we earned from cookie sales, but the schools made the houses, and you can see on page 8 examples of the unfinished houses, but these girls have been very busy. We had a total of 18 houses, so this is just a portion of our troop here this evening, but they've all been very busy painting their houses in whatever style they imagined, and so you can see a couple of designs here. We have a wide range. There's a space theme, there's an American flag theme, you name it. They've done a great job. So they have a big question for this select board. Girls, what's our question for them? What do we want them to tell us if we can do?
If we can put the butterfly houses in a certain place.
Yes. So on page 7, is a list of public places that the girls imagined for Freetown, that they would love to be able to put houses up. We would handle the installation, working with whoever's in charge at the respective locations. But we're seeking permission. We understand that you are the governing body for the majority of this list, but perhaps not all of this list. I will say there's been a separate effort with the town of Lakeville, but we welcome your feedback and questions on their request.
All right, thank you very much, and great job, girls. This is really impressive. So I guess one question I have is, so if you put these butterfly houses out there, and they're really cool, by the way, will, you pass this down to next year's troop, or maybe you next year take care of those same butterfly houses so that they're sustainable?
So one of the things that is in process right now is adding several coats of polyurethane to these butterfly houses to make sure they will last a number of years. They will each also have a little plaque on them that signifies the troop number and the year that they were constructed. But it's our belief, based on the quality of the houses and the care being put into developing them, that they'll last for years to come.
Awesome. Any questions from you guys?
Well, first of all, the Girl Scouts are awesome. Someone said cookies, just in case. You may bring any for me?
Yes, they did actually. We didn't want to give that to you at the start because we felt that could be misconstrued. So we thought we would give it to you at the end, regardless of the outcome of the discussion.
Well, thank you for that. And I remember you girls, I was with you at the Earth Day last year.
You were.
And I hope to see you out there again this year.
Yes, we are going to
All
be
right.
there.
Well, my question is, how do I get one? I would love one for my house.
Well,
Do you have any design plans you can share with us?
well, what can we offer, Selectman Lopes? How about a seed bomb and maybe
Seed bombs.
a bookmark?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to go ahead? Tell him.
How about a seed bomb and a bookmark? Would you like that?
I would love one. Thank you so much.
I think you girls are doing a great job, and I think the town would be honored to put them up. I can't make the decision on my own, but I'm pretty sure that you have my vote. So, great job.
So our next step here is we're gonna have a vote, and the locations here are the Freetown Libraries, Water Street Park, Freetown Elementary School, Freetown Police Station, Freetown Fire Station, Freetown Town Hall, and the Freetown Lakeville Middle School. The middle school, being in Lakeville, we probably can't do that one.
Yeah.
We're happy to take that up with the principal there.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we replace that with the beach, the Freetown Town Beach?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you had 18 of them?
Yes.
So what if we vote yes on these today, then what if we come up with different ideas? Can we
They would
call you
love that.
guys and say, hey, we have
But
more locations?
you have 18 just for Freetown, or
We
is
have
it-
18 to share between the towns. It's a handful that are going to Lakeville, so there is certainly some wiggle room. If you have ideas, we welcome them.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Clearly,
just
there was
thinking
excitement about the beach, so we,
Yeah.
to
Fantastic.
try and spread them across town.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, where geographically how we're spread out. So
Also, I think one of the locations that we had thought of was the Assonet Library, and we were speaking with the librarian just before the meeting. Her concern was there's literally like a foot of space, I think, that's technically part of the library all around.
Yeah, it's a very
So she's
small.
like, I tried planting something once, and the guy who mows is like the neighbor who mows, and she was a little concerned about that, so we might have to.
we
Yeah.
welcome
play around
alternatives.
with
and it
some
might be a
options
little
depending
bit
on space.
more difficult because it is state-owned, but maybe something over, right out in front over here.
At the Memorial Park?
Yeah.
Oh, no, well, you have Memorial Park too, but I'm saying at the State Forest, like the main gate area over
Where the
there.
splash pad is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
one of the
splash
scouts is pursuing that location
Oh, yeah.
with the ranger station there, so we'll see. They haven't got an answer yet.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just thinking of it geographically,
great
how to
idea.
spread it apart, so.
How about the Council on Aging?
Yeah, Towns on
Yeah, they have a
Aging.
nice garden.
To see the butterflies there.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so I'll have the motion, I'll include these locations, and then, we can discuss anything else that comes up.
Great.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve, to have the Girl Scouts install butterfly houses at the Freetown Libraries, Water Street Park, Freetown Elementary School, Freetown Police Station, Freetown Fire Stations, Freetown's Town Hall, the Town Beach, and the Council on Aging.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes.
Yes.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
Selectman Matthews.
Yes. You guys got your butterfly houses.
Woo-hoo, good job, girls,
girls.
congratulations. Now, girls.
One thing, I want to see pictures of the butterflies when they
Of
hatch.
course. Well, I will tell you, so the Nemasket News was very interested. They already came out and interviewed the girls.
Awesome.
And they're going to do a follow-up story as we seek to install them when the weather gets a little nicer. But
Great.
would you like to carry this over carefully? Carefully? This troop sold almost 5,000 boxes of cookies,
My gosh.
but we made sure we saved some to show our appreciation to groups like yourself, and we'll also be, good job,
Thank you
girls.
so much.
We'll be heading around town on Good Friday, delivering it to other public offices as well.
That's
So,
amazing.
thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you
For all you do.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Good night.
Good
Great
job, girls. All right,
Ladies, great job today.
thank you.
All right, keep it up. I want to see those badges full.
Sure will. 4th of July parade.
That's right.
Yes.
See you guys out there again?
Yes, of course. And Earth Day, and the egg hunt, and anything else Freetown comes up with. We will be there. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
So now our town clerk has a tough act to follow here.
I was just about to say the same exact thing. Can you folks hear me okay?
Yep, hear you loud and clear.
Perfect.
All right, so agenda item 5 is presentation from town clerk on the annual town elections. Cheryl, take it away.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'd like to apologize that I'm not there in person, but you're giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight and as well as all the voters and residents of Freetown. As usual, I like to present to you before any upcoming elections, just a normal review of some deadline dates and some things that are happening. So with that, we'll continue to the first slide. I just wanted to let everyone know that the voter registration deadline for the 2025 annual town election, which is scheduled for Monday, April 7th. Voter registration deadline is going to be this Friday by 5 p.m. So Friday, March 28th. I'll be in the office to take in-person voter registrations. And if folks want to register online, which seems to be the way to go nowadays, convenience right in the palm of your hand, they can register to vote at voteinma.com. As always, if you're already an existing registered voter in Freetown, you don't need to register for this specific election. This is for new voters. Continuing on to the next slide, we'll discuss absentee voting. As always, absentee voting for cause is available for all elections. For cause, we have 3 reasons according to pursuant to state law. Absentee voting is available to any registered voter who will be unable to attend the polls on election due to 1, an absence from the voter's city or town during normal polling hours. Number 2, a physical disability preventing them from going to the polling place. Or number 3, a religious belief. The deadline to apply to receive a absentee ballot through the mail is going to be by 5 p.m. Monday, March 31st. And then, or if for some reason you find out late that and you don't want to receive a absentee ballot through the mail, you can apply in person. And the last day to apply in person would be 5 p.m. Friday, April the 4th at Town Hall. Both options, whether you're requesting a absentee ballot by mail or voting absentee in person at Town Hall, both avenues require an application. So it's the application deadline. So the sooner you get those applications in, the better. Moving on to the next slide. I have a picture here of the specimen ballot. As always with every election on our town webpage, we have a landing page for anything, any documents, any information, any materials having to do with that specific election. So folks want to go online, freetownma.gov/2025 ATE, which stands for Annual Town Election. That brings you right to the landing page where you can see copies of the specimen ballot, the warrants that were signed, the calling for the election, etc. We have a pretty short ballot. It's a short ballot. It's one-sided. Just like to remind folks to make sure that they fill in the oval completely so that the tabulators can read the actual document and the actual ballot. And then the one thing that I wanted to call attention to, which is very important, is a new traffic pattern. So you'll see on the slide there, there's a new
I don't think
traffic
we can see
pattern.
the slide real quick, Cheryl, just.
No, I'm trying to get that one to come up and it won't
Okay.
come up.
I can't see it on my end, so if you just want to let me know once it's up.
There it is.
You try and reshare the screen, maybe? It's weird. It shows you're sharing.
No pressure. There you go.
There we go.
Oh, now I can see it. There you go. Thanks, Luann. So as you are aware, the town has installed a new door in the rear of the gymnasium. State law encourages us to have one entrance and one exit. So this is going to be the major change that's happening, the new traffic flow, the new traffic pattern, the entrance door. I've been working with the highway department to include signage. We've got some extra election workers on to help with traffic flow, but the new entrance is going to be at the rear of the building. There's been an ADA accessible ramp. It's over there on the far left of your screen. So the entrance is going to be that way. So folks are going to queue up almost behind that gymnasium. The existing entrance and exit door that you've been used to for the past couple of elections, that's now going to be an exit only. So folks are going to queue up in the back of the gymnasium. We'll have signage there. We'll have vehicles there to make sure folks aren't driving through. And then once you enter the gymnasium, the actual floor plan is going to change. So it'd be similar to the floor plan that was in existence prior to 2021. So they'll come through, we'll have greeters there. They'll go through the marking station and then exit the current door. Parking's not going to change. So that's still the same thing. I will make note that school is in session that day. Polls are going to open at 12 p.m. and they'll close at 8 p.m. Working with the principal ward and the elementary school for parent pickup, so that they are in their appropriate lines there against the school and they don't get confused with what the new voter entrance is going to be. So hopefully with the signage and the folks that I have stationed out there, it should be really simple and we'll get our voters used to the new traffic pattern. And then that's about it. So if anyone has any questions, they can always refer to the website, give the office a call. And again, annual town election is going to be Monday, April 7th. Polls open at 12 and close at 8 p.m. Does anyone have any questions?
No?
Nope, but I'm going to be absentee voter this year, so. you'll be hearing from me.
Oh,
Yep, I'll be in Canada, so.
yeah, so you can come on in or we can mail that ballot to you. We just need that application in, so
Yep.
you have
I'll
those
get
two
that done.
deadline dates.
Yep. All right. I don't have any questions. Anyone questions?
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right. Thank you very much. And
I'm still on for the next one though.
Yep. Yep. So that's agenda item 5. We're going to take care of 5 and 6, and then we'll jump probably to the public hearing or the informational meeting. Because we have folks from Eversource here. So agenda item 6 is discussion of vote on the annual letter from the Board of Selectmen to the town committees for a list of members seeking appointments. I looked at them, pretty standard. Any comments on that, Cheryl?
No, so it's just pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 54, Section 12. The Board of Selectmen has to make notice via mail to the chair people of the town committees requesting a list of persons from those political parties that may be interested in becoming election workers. The maximum amount of names put forward would be 8. That letter from the town committees for interested parties should be forwarded to the Board of Registrars. And by June 1st, that's the deadline. And then by June 13th, the Board of Registrars will have to notify the Board of Selectmen with a list of interested parties and lists for appointment by August 15th. So it's a pretty customary standard letter. I did include a sample in my memo, but that's for your department to put together. I'm just here to answer any questions and just put you on notice that that needs to go out.
Yep. All right. Any questions or concerns?
No.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to send out or approve and send out the annual letter from the Board of Selectmen to the town committees for the list of members seeking appointments.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes. All right. Thank you,
Perfect,
Cheryl.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. Have a good night.
All right, so now I'm gonna move on to, is this a public hearing or is it a
Informational meeting.
informational meeting? I don't, have we done that before? I don't know if we have, but
Not really.
we'll treat it like a, okay, so I'm just gonna read the informational meeting notice. So Eversource Energy request permission to make upgrades to Industrial Park Station number 636, including new duct and manhole system with impacts to Phillips, Brayley, and Chipaway, and Chase Road. Representatives from Eversource will present results of the cluster study and plans for these upgrades. Any informational meeting to, an informational meeting, sorry, to learn more about this matter will be held on March 24th, 2024 at 7 PM at the Police Station Community Room, 15 Memorial Drive, East Freetown, Mass. Persons interested in commenting may appear at this meeting. If unable to attend the meeting, comments may be submitted in writing no later than close of business Wednesday, March 19th, 2024, to the Board of Selectmen, 3 North Main Street, Assonet, and signed by Freetown Board of Selectmen. So with that, I guess I'll open up the informational meeting. So thank you for joining us.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. My name is Anthony Valu. I'm Community Relations for Eversource, and I wish I was coming here tonight to also build butterfly houses, but we have just a unique proposal for you folks. And I'm here with John Ventura, who's the engineering manager, and Teresa Fursinger, who's the rights manager. It's just that I'll turn it over to them in a second, but to start, we have a unique proposal we just want to run by the board first to connect some distributed energy resources in Freetown and the north end of New Bedford to our north end substation, which is off of Phillips Road in New Bedford. It's sort of 4 miles connecting those sites, and I'll turn it over to John, who can explain a little bit. And I also have the map here. I'll just share my screen because I'm plugged into the Zoom.
Okay, great, perfect.
This is related to solar farms, correct?
Yes. Correct.
So I need to recuse myself from this conversation because of my solar. So I'm just gonna step out.
Okay. Thank you, Deb. All right. Lots going on in this slide deck here.
Yeah, so I'm starting on, and I think you guys have the whole slide deck, but
Yeah.
I'm starting on page 14, which basically shows the route that I just highlighted, and I'll turn it over to John, who can speak to sort of the engineering why we're looking to do this.
So, I mean, the current ask now is to build a double circuit up Chipaway. The project was submitted to the DPU, and the cost that came back to build it, what the initial proposal was an underground duct system, was too cost prohibitive. Another alternative that was investigated was building a new substation, which was also cost prohibitive and pushed the schedule way out. So the alternative we're looking at is to build 2 pole lines up Brayley and Chipaway up to like the hub of where all these sites would be located. So it's a little different because normally we keep, pole lines on one side of the road. But in this case, to run the second set of circuits, we would come up the other side of the road. In some places it crisscrosses, and we would basically bring the circuits up both sides of the road the whole way up to the hub. In that image there, it's where a red line breaks to the left. That would be the termination of the 4 circuits. So there's advantages besides being able to host all these solar sites. It brings additional reliability and capacity to Freetown for other reasons. So that's the big picture, is that you're gonna have, and actually in some of those areas, there's only 1 circuit right now. You're gonna have 2 coming up all that way from Industrial Park, which is a very, substantial substation with, ultimately will be 3 large transformers. Currently, there's 2 there, but they're much bigger than the ones at Sonnet substation, which is fed from a single source from a National Grid substation. So it's not quite as, reliable as we would like, but this pathway is the one that we're seeing is the most cost-effective, probable.
I grew up off of Chipaway, pretty narrow, windy road. Adding additional telephone poles to it really doesn't help safety in my eyes for the residents. Looks to put telephone poles down both sides of the road consistently, I don't think will be very eye appealing. I think that you'll get a lot of pushback from the residents, myself included, about the way that it would look if you were gonna do that. That being said, I will also say I have a gentleman in the back of the room over there who's not wanting me to probably call on him, but he just repaved that road. So if we're gonna put stuff down the road and, you know, underground, I know you already saw, you know, talking a little bit about cost. It would have to be brought to its current condition so that, you know, it would have to be repaved curb to curb. Is what we've recently done on another spot in my eyes. I don't see how we don't do it because we just spent quite a bit of money to repave that road. So we wouldn't want to have ditches dug in and then, you know, patchwork done right up the road that was, you know, newest paved road and one of the newest paved roads in Freetown. So I just look at it as some roads are wider and that might make a little more sense, but someone, you know, like I said, Chipaway, go look at the layout of Chipaway. And right now, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, it does zigzag, right, where it kind of goes from left to right in certain spots, but it's not on left and right the whole way down the road. So,
Yeah, there are definitely a couple of narrow spots. I'm familiar with the road myself, so that would be a concern. And then we'd have to do significant amount of tree work, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
about. It's
Yeah.
like,
No,
it's
yeah.
super tight. I mean, it's like I used to drive it, you know, I lived King Phillips up that way or Proprietor Acres, and so I would drive, every time I go to New Bedford or Dartmouth, I'd drive down Chipaway, and it's like, you know.
Sure.
You feel like you're in a tunnel at some points because there's so much tree cover.
but that's kind of the beauty of it
Oh,
all,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where
absolutely.
now, to your point, where and I guess that's what I was trying to say, is that it's the aesthetics of it, not just having two telephone poles down the road, but how much it's gonna widen and how it's going to make it feel. And now we're telling residents that we're cutting down trees in their front yard that they've had there. They have this beautiful oak tree in their front yard that we're gonna now chop down so we can put a telephone pole to feed that. I don't see it going over well, and it wouldn't have my support at all for that reason. And I'm usually a pretty fair guy about things, but I just look at that and everything about it screams no to me.
And then you said you were going from 2 transformers to 3 bigger transformers, correct?
That's at New Bedford.
That's the New Bedford side, all
I
right.
wouldn't see that to be out of sight. It's really a lot of these new customers, there's 11 customer sites in East Freetown area
Right.
that we're trying to get to from that substation, and that's really the challenge.
Now, we're all for, you know, green energy, solar, and all these things, right? And here in Freetown, seems like we have a few of them, right, here and there. How does this benefit Freetown? Over the past months, over years actually, you know, we've entered into a community aggregate program to lower energy costs for our residents. Earlier, you mentioned this being beneficial to Freetown having a bigger line. Now, does that mean somehow we can tap into the energy that our properties are doing as far as delivery charges? The cost of everything seems to be going up, especially in the electricity world. How does this benefit for those watching at home, hearing about more solar? Usually, from what we understand, solar is leaving our town. It's here. We're paying for the infrastructure. We're listening to the buzzing of the batteries for some of them, but it's not really staying here as far as the cost savings. Any insight as would that benefit our residents other than the ones that own the property?
So what I can say is the load, there just isn't that much load in Freetown, right? So it becomes what's not used locally is exported. That's kind of what happens. And actually, in southeastern Mass, in the spring and fall, we generally export more energy during the day than we use, believe it or not. So with all the solar across southeastern Mass, we're a net exporter, many days during light load periods. As far as the extra circuits, what I was referring to is additional reliability. that you have, if we have a broken pole on one side of the road, we'll have capacity on the other side to carry the same customers. And it could be from a storm, it could be hit by auto, it could be anything. So the additional circuits adds that redundancy and resiliency that we're trying to do all over our company. As far as the underground option, so I think that's sort of set aside right now because as far as the question about paving, so we would be off the road with the poles, so there wouldn't really be paving work, so to speak.
No, but I'm saying that if you decided to go to the underground, right, I'm saying I'm completely against having the additional poles going down both sides for all the reasons we just stated, but I'm saying that also just keep in mind that if you decide to put structures under the ground in the roadway,
Understood.
that we would then need to then repave that road because of, it's not like the pavement's,
Bad condition.
100 years old. It's brand new. So,
Understood.
yeah. And then I guess that the only time I would say then is, well, then let's take down the telephone poles that are existing because we don't need them, right? Like, I mean, then it would help the
Yeah, so you're saying
it was ineffective.
or yeah, like just cost prohibitive, yeah, I wonder how much, because I think long-term, right, I totally agree with your concerns, like, it should be repaved, but I think long-terms, I'm sure in general, the push is to go underground when possible, right, just because it just seems to make more sense, right? But like, it must have been a huge delta in the total cost, right, in order to try to go with this other solution, which, has a lot more of, impact to the residents, and, I'm sure there's a lot more upkeep on having poles, more things can go wrong, right? So is it that much more expensive? Like, do you have any numbers to say, like, was it twice as much to go underground versus?
It was, one of the big cost drivers is the cable cost, because it's copper cable.
Yep.
So it's much, not only the non-electric cost of excavating the manholes,
Yep.
paving, all that, it's the material cost is much, much higher. So that's kind of why you kind of have to go back to the drawing board and look at what other options do we have. And even if we did do underground, the existing overhead would essentially have to stay to maintain all the existing connections. You think of all the houses
Yeah,
connected.
of course.
So we would need to keep a pole line communications, and everything else. So it may not be a main path, but it would still be there for local
Local
power
distribution,
distribution.
yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm just trying to think of a positive of if you went, could you remove poles? But listen, I'm not asking, the poles that are there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I just don't want to add to, so.
So one question I have is like, so I heard this crazy stat the other day about a lot of the solar farms that we've seen built, and this is across the country, they're built and they're not actually setting the power anywhere because the infrastructure is not there in order to move that power. So like, are these solar panel kind of arrays we see all over town, are they actually connected to a grid yet?
So I don't know if you have any statistics on that, but there are, I mean, we do have to, there are some that are, the schedules are a little bit off.
Yep.
Where they're not connected yet, or they're not generating full output.
Yeah.
Because we haven't upgraded the infrastructure.
Yeah.
A number of these, I don't think any of them have really invested in that yet until we say, this is the pathway, this is what
Okay,
it's
so these are
gonna
not built
cost.
yet, these are for
future, yeah.
state ones.
Yeah, I believe all the previously approved ones are in and running.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know about all, but the majority are, because it would be a big, loss of investment if.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah, that's why but it was like a crazy amount, I heard this on the radio, but yeah, I forget what it was, but it was a huge percentage are built, ready to contribute, and can't because of problems like this, right, where they can't connect to the grid.
Yeah, I don't know what that number is,
Yeah.
but I imagine there is some number.
Yeah,
I guess, there's a lot of pros and cons, right? The cons is a lot of it that the Selectman Zager had to say is, we do have concerns when trees, poles, visual, let's face it, people aren't the greatest drivers sometimes, right? We all get distracted by these little squirrels and cell phones and everything else, so. But the pros seems like less and less. We're not really benefiting from this whatsoever, other than potentially adding to the power grid sometime down the road.
allowing additional solar fields to now
Yeah.
give them the ability to build. That's the only upside I see to it, and that's, you know what, I mean, there's people who own large masses of land, and I would like to be able to see them do that. I'm not opposed to it, but at the same time, I don't think putting that on our residents in order to help someone else down the road potentially put in additional solar fields is the right answer. It just, it doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah, I hear those concerns. We don't actually like build the solar fields. We just, our only
Oh, I
job
know.
is to get them connected, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
Oh,
like,
absolutely, but
yeah.
I'm saying they're coming to Eversource and
Sure.
saying, can you support this?
Right.
Right, because they don't want to build it unless you can support it to take the power back into the grid. So it's really, you doing this is helping them to be able to get that checkbox that they can now build on this 30 acres in this area. So I've thought a lot about it once I saw it and where it was, and, you know, like I said, as someone who's grown up over there and driven, I don't live there anymore, I live on the other side of town, but, you know, it's just, it just doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's tough because, you know, the solar fields that you do see, a lot of it's clear cut around it, obviously, right? The name of the game is get as much sun on those solar panels as possible. Aesthetically speaking, yeah, I don't care how many bushes or Aphrodites you put there, you still have solar farm there, right? You know, our pollinators were just here, you know, that's a lot of butterfly boxes we'd have to build around there to make up for it. Yeah, it's a tough one, but like, I think we could all say in principle, we support energy, right, green energy, we do. Well, at what cost? I just don't see the benefit to the town of Freetown. Yeah,
All right.
tough one.
So I don't think we have any specific vote on this tonight, do we?
Oh, discussion vote to anything
Pertaining to it. I mean, I don't,
And do we have to call out a specific vote on whether or not we allow them to do it?
This was really just informational.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just to
that's what
bring-
I mean, that's what I'm saying, do we need to
I
call
don't think
it
there's a
out?
specific
Right.
vote
So-
we need to.
Not
So
yet.
we've been asked to provide a solution by the DPU, and
Yeah.
we did propose underground,
Yeah.
and that was a non-starter for them.
Yeah.
So we have a very limited ability to solve the problem. We have very limited choices. And, you know, in full transparency, we just wanted to bring to you where we are in developing what the solution is going to be, and to get your feedback and to see if we can somehow put, you know, your feedback, your concerns into what that ultimate design ends up being. Because we do have to come up with a solution, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, I hear you.
The problem, you know, I look at it like this. We want to work with you to get a solution, right? But we don't want our solution to contribute to the bigger problem, right? The aesthetics of it all, right? We want to say yes, 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 just like the wind farm out in Nantucket Bay, right? It's great, but who wants to look at that, right? So we get to the point that we're saturated in solar farms throughout the town. It gets to the point the residents are like, hey, what about the public land? What about why we bought here? And that's to enjoy nature and the quietness of it all in between trains. Sorry, I threw that in there. So that's our concern, right? We understand that at your point, you have to try and find a solution to the bigger issue, right? Our issue is we love our small town the way it is, right? We don't want to look at these things everywhere we go, especially in a windy road that can sometimes treacherous. Last time it's a storm, there was a massive tree on Chipaway that crossed the entire road.
Well, and there's a lot of wetland,
Yeah.
right? So that's the other part. There's a good chunk of that road that has a lot of wetland, which, you know, is another issue. So, I don't know. Clearing trees away from wetlands, and I know that you guys can go through permitting processes and stuff, so I'm not saying that you can't do it. But I'm saying like in that area too, it's just, I don't know, it's just adding more complexity to it all, so.
So what's next?
I would
So-
say.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, please, I was gonna say, so what would be the next step when you go back to them and say, listen, they're giving us a hard no, that they do not want this? So are they gonna come back and what are they gonna do?
Is that a hard no you're giving us?
Yeah, I think we can
Soft
all
no.
lean one way, saying, "Hey, our residents are going to say no." We can safely say that's going to be the case, right? So instead of saying no, let's find another solution, right? But it would, if we were to vote today, I almost, not guarantee, I don't like guarantees, but I know I'm leaning that way.
Well, and then I'm leaning that way, so there's 2 out of the 3.
Right, so-
Without a hard vote, it's a hard.
No, that's fair.
So-
I mean, it gives
So,
us something to.
but we want to work with you as well. Like, we believe in green, but we also don't believe in doing the steps that you're taking, right? To us, tunneling on the ground is our solution, right, in that sense. I know it's cost prohibitive for you folks, but we're the ones that have to live here at the end of the day.
So just to provide some context, it's the ratepayers that bear the cost of these projects. So that's really what the DPU looks at.
Okay.
And that's why they said, you know what, this is a non-starter, go back and see what else you can do.
Yeah.
And that I can appreciate, right? You're right. And I've thought about that, but then it also leans back to what I originally said. Now, when someone has a parcel of land over there that they want to put this on, you say we can't support that system. So it's not gonna fall burden back on them, because if you say that's a non-starter, it doesn't work, then it just makes that property unviable for future projects. So it's just, I think that, okay, you won't do it, but then all that translates into is down the road, no solar farms will be over there. I'm not opposed to solar farms. I think that they're better than a lot of alternatives that can end up on properties. Look around town, we have plenty of them. I'm just saying that I'm opposed to doing that, because I feel like it's just not a good idea for the residents over there, so.
Yeah, it does present an issue. It's a congested area, right? It truly is. And to add more infrastructure there, it just gives you even more excuses to hit it, in a sense, right? Like, we don't want to hit any poles or transformers and things like that, but you add more, you tend to hit more, right? And it's already a treacherous area. I don't believe there's any additional streetlights or anything like that, or many in that road. 'Cause I too use King Philip often, and when I go to different parts of town, I use Chipaway, like my highway, right? Yeah, and I wish I had a race car like I was a teenager again. It's a great road,
Yeah.
so it's tough.
I shouldn't say that with the chief of police. in the back of the
Within
room.
the speed.
So it's bit ironic to our next agenda item is actually discussing a problem telephone pole we have at the corner of Gurney Road and Chase Road, where we've had, like, Chief can speak to in a minute, but like 37 accidents, and this is all in that same area, like, where the telephone poles themselves are becoming a problem, right? It's just kind of,
Is it a visibility thing, or?
it's in the middle of an intersection,
Oh, okay.
which is crazy.
It's a little bit of it, yeah.
That's correct.
Eversource, want to move a pole?
We've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had students who were doing a project, they came and presented to us about this problem last year. And,
This pole.
Oh, that's bad.
yeah,
We can do something about it.
well, stick around.
Some bollards. No,
With us here.
it's a public safety thing. too, so
It is, it really
We
is.
could
Send it
probably do
along.
something with bollards.
On a situation like that, you can, the town administrator can always send something to me,
Okay,
and we can try to
okay,
address it, yeah.
all right.
One quick, I just want to
Yeah.
correct a comment. So these major projects is it cost sharing? It's not all ratepayer.
Yeah.
The developers are paying a portion and the ratepayers are paying.
That makes sense. All right.
Hey, just curiosity, the people using the solar farms there, are they LLCs, outside LLCs, or are they local? Do you know if there are some people from town? Or are they like, is it China buying into
No,
Freetown?
It's the property, I can speak to this because of dealing with them somewhat in the past, is it's property owners subleasing their property out to different companies.
Got it.
That then are selling the power back into the grid. They're paying them to use their property. And then these companies are selling it back into Eversource and such. So it's not China owning the land.
Yeah, ideally, that's a great idea. It truly is. It's, if you have land and you can use it for that, fantastic, right? Yeah.
Well, if you guys got any land we can build a substation on, let me know,
To work something out.
You guys do sewer? You guys do sewer? We could work out a deal if there was a sewer involved.
All right, so I think we're clear. I mean, I think there's no vote being taken right now, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna close the informational meeting, and then bring in Deb can come back. So I'll entertain a motion to close this informational meeting.
Motion made, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not sure if I have to do that, but I always rather make a motion if I have an abundance of caution. Okay, so you guys might want to stick around for this, just because I think it actually is, one of your polls. That's a problem. So, agenda item, 7 here is discussion and vote on conducting a traffic study to address the safety concerns for the intersection located at Gurney Road and Chase Road. So Chief, if you want to, jump in here and kind of tell us about the information you pulled?
Sure can. So our most recent accident at this location was at the end of February. And knowing the history of this intersection and this utility pole, which is, again, located directly in the four-way intersection, prompted a analysis and a survey of our activity responding to numerous accidents at this location. So Sergeant Ashley spent a lot of time and researched our motor vehicle accidents at this location all the way back to January 1st of 2018. So we're talking just over a 6-year stint. And during that time frame, we've responded to 37 motor vehicle accidents at this location. Over half of those accidents are accidents that are involving that utility pole, where the crash makes contact with that utility pole. The other half are mainly accidents involving other vehicles traveling in the area. So it is a very concerning intersection. Over half of those accidents involving the utility pole are accidents involving vehicles that are traveling on Gurney Road, making the stop at the stop sign and attempting to make a left-hand turn heading east on Chase Road to go towards the highway. And other than the utility pole being in the middle, I can't, foresee why people are driving into the pole when they're making this left-hand turn. Their probably attention is looking to the right, looking west to see if there's oncoming cars coming. And because the intersection is so wide, I imagine some people are confused whether to go to the left or to the right of the pole to go around the pole. So this intersection definitely needs some sense of attention to increase the safety here. Out of all the intersections in the community, this lines right up to our zone at Four Corners of one of the more dangerous intersections. We have plenty of activity here, we have plenty of data. We've supported that and sent it to the Board of Selectmen for review. But I'm happy to answer any questions of the data that's there. I can tell you that all of the accidents involved, I would say, looking at what I'm seeing here, half of the vehicles are being towed, half the accidents are reported having injuries. But I can tell you that in the past couple of years, I don't recall any serious or fatalities at that location, but definitely warrants some other safety measures to make things better at that location.
Thank you, Chief. So, I think, we should get rid of the pole, right? We should get it out of the middle of the intersection, right? But I still think it's a dangerous intersection, probably regardless of that, just because it should be a four-way stop, but it's not, or it should be something, right? So just at it from you folks, just, you can leave after this, how long would it take from everything to get that pole out of the middle of that intersection? If we were to request that formally tomorrow?
We'd have to look at the poles on either side of it. And
Yeah.
what's on that pole, so we have to look at that to see what the feasibility is of a solution to just remove it. And just looking at it though, I see all the reflectors and I think the markers are a great idea, but the other thing to consider is bollards, the concrete filled pipes that it presents a more, it's gonna cause more damage to a vehicle and it's more visible.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of reflective bollards. And maybe, maybe 4 around it with the reflectors so that it's more visible, I would say. But I don't know if, I'd have to look to see what the distances are.
Because what I'm thinking here, right, is I like, if we have a highway department do something to, what you're saying, but do we want to make that investment you know, how much of an investment do we want to make if we're gonna move that pole anyways, right? But, I mean, I think we do need to do something, obviously.
My concern is I think that you say, what, about half the vehicles that have been involved in an accident over there weren't towed away. So what were a lot of those, were they people in kind of piggybacking off what you said, they're looking to the right, they're going left? Well, widening out what they're going to possibly hit might save the telephone pole, but it's not gonna reduce the amount of traffic accidents. Because I think that they know the pole's there, but they're looking to the left because of the intersection, they're driving into the pole. So I think that we need to find a way to remove that pole and then maybe do something with the intersection as a whole. But I don't know that putting anything around the telephone pole is gonna save anything other than the telephone pole.
Yeah, to Chief's point, you mentioned the four corners, right? At the four corners, we have every gizmo known to man, from blinking lights to signs to things painted on the ground, yet we still have a problem with basic looking, you know, at the end of the day, the driver has to take some responsibility. You know, I look at that pole, it's been there since the beginning of time, right? 37 accidents over 6 years, or 7 years, that's a lot. But some responsibility is on the driver, right?
Absolutely.
It's one of those things, don't fix it if that's not broken. This is almost like half broken. Like, we remove the pole, are we adding lights? Are we adding, not lights, like little blinkers like we do at the four corners? To make people aware, come down Chase Road. So there's, you know, we even had the children, or the students, the high school, create a plan. So whatever we do, we gotta get them involved, make sure that they get their
They
credit.
came to us
Yeah.
and said to us that they thought there was an issue at that intersection, and we talked a little bit about it with them, but it was it was an informal thing, but that was kind of unfortunately where it was left at that point, because, so, but now with this telephone pole thing, this is a little bit more hard data that's been put to us that says that we need to do something.
Yeah, so, I guess, Chuck, you're here, like, is there any short-term kind of fixes that you see that could be done?
I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Okay.
Do we know what the traffic count, Scott?
I don't know.
2,000 cars a day?
It's hard to say. I can't give you a figure, but, I mean, if we were looking to do a traffic count, I'd be definitely
We
supportive.
really can't do much as far as stop signs or traffic lights or anything without getting engineers involved.
Yeah.
Just can't do stuff. I mean, the concrete bollards, that's gonna protect the telephone pole, but that's just gonna have them run into a concrete bollard.
Yep.
The lineators that TJ put on this little photo thing there, that might help, they're reflective. Possibly a yellow flashing light on the pole if you're traveling towards 140 might help. But if you've had 37 accidents in 7 years, and if there's 2,000 cars a day, you're looking at 6 million cars that have driven through that intersection in the last 7 years, and you've only had 37 accidents.
That's a glass half full perspective, Chuck, I like it.
Well, again, I mean, I drive through that intersection 20 times a day.
Yeah.
Driving everything from bicycles to motorcycles to tractor trailers.
Yeah.
Never had an issue, never had a close call, never said, holy crap, we gotta do something.
Yeah.
But I say the same thing about us on Four Corners. I've never had an issue. But, I mean, we can put up plastic lineators like the railroad did at the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Cheap money, probably, if I put in 10 around that island, it's probably gonna cost us maybe $500.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can do that, I can have that done, if I can get the lineators, I can have it done tomorrow.
Okay.
And that doesn't require any kind of traffic study, we don't have to bring in engineers. Once you start with stop sign, four-way stop sign, people are gonna get hurt real bad, you're gonna have real accidents. Roundabout, I don't think your town's prepared to spend, $8 million on a roundabout for that particular intersection.
Yeah.
Not now, not yet.
Yeah.
But moving the telephone pole, I don't know. I think if people are traveling east and west, at least they've got that telephone pole and that island separating them. If you didn't have that, are they gonna start crashing into one another?
Well, that was why my thought was gonna be, Chuck, is do we still have if they remove that, do we still have some sort of like rumble strip almost in between that's like, concrete, so it differentiates the road? But-
You could, and I think TJ proposed painting a dotted line from Gurney, taking the left onto Chase. That's an easy thing too. Once the weather cooperates, we can do that in-house, and that won't cost $5 to do that. We can bang that out easy.
All right,
I mean, if you want, I can get the lineators ordered, and when the weather cooperates, we can get that stuff installed. It's cheap money, and we can see if it makes a difference.
all right.
Yeah,
I really don't, I can see a tractor trailer taking a left off of Gurney, bouncing the end of the trailer off the pole, and the guy not paying attention about how a car, and I've seen it firsthand, live action. The guy takes the left and drives right into the telephone pole. Again, until all the cars in the world are totally autonomous, you're gonna have these issues happen.
Yeah.
Maybe he really hates telephone poles.
No, I mean, it's just, it is human error.
Yeah.
110% of the time.
Yeah.
But tomorrow I'll make phone calls. I'll get the lineators ordered, and as soon as we get some decent dry weather, I'll paint that dotted yellow line through that intersection, and we'll play with it.
absolutely, but I still think at the same time, we should do all that plus remove the telephone pole if possible.
It's a pretty ornery junction. I don't see it being an easy removal.
Yeah,
It's the way the wires come off.
Mhm.
but I mean, at least we can try and get steps forward on, see if they can do something with it, and, you know,
Yeah, we
work
could
it
take a
over.
look, but yeah, it's just not ideal for sure, the way it is.
Data-wise, if you need data to send it up the chain, we can provide this to you if you need it, as far as emergency order or anything like that. Although, you know, out of the 6 million vehicles traveling in the past 7 years, 37 out of how many accidents have we had in town over the same period? Probably the majority of them are right here, right?
Just at that location,
Yeah.
I can't think of another intersection that, active with accidents. And the whole idea of this conversation is to improve the safety there and people not hitting the pole. So reflectors and paint on the roadway, if it makes things better and reduces the accidents by half, I think that's a win.
Great.
But on the same note, you're absolutely right, there's some responsibility that belongs to the operators out there, and we all know they might not be doing 30 miles an hour in that general area, which it's posted. They're doing faster.
Yeah.
They want to zip to get to the highway, right? So.
Not
it's a
me,
ma-
chief, not me. It's the wrong road.
All right.
So what I can do is reach out to Serped. Serped's our regional planning agency. These kinds of situations, generally, when they arise, you bring them to Serped, and they have the Joint Transportation Committee. They provide information and studies to the town, so I can reach out to them. The other thing is, I know we did the Complete Streets study. I just can't remember if this was in it. Do you remember?
It was.
So-
And Serpent's been brought in on this years, and it's, to them, it doesn't qualify as a dangerous intersection. You don't have the accidents, you don't have the bad accidents.
For that.
You've had 37 accidents in 7 years with 6 million cars. As just a general, maybe it's 5 million, maybe it's 4 million. But percentage-wise, it's minute.
So if it was in the Complete Street study, I'll take a review of that. I have that on my filing cabinet. We can get a grant to do improvements on that, if we're able to get grants, all depending on the MBTA zoning stuff. So I can look at that and follow up with that as well. So you can work on the short term, and I'll work on something,
I can get the stuff, it'll be done by the end of the
especially
week.
with the new planner coming in. I can pass this off to her and have her start looking at it with the Complete Street study.
Perfect. Do I need a vote on this?
One thing I just wanted to add, Deb, can you also reach out to the high school, to the students that did the plan as well? Make sure they're somehow involved, or just maybe an email saying, hey, we're looking at touching this, we're looking at some of your plans, just in case they need something for their study or for their project.
That's a good idea.
Let's get them involved back in it.
Okay.
Good idea.
All right, so I don't think we need a vote there, right? This is kind of just within Chuck's
No, Chuck's gonna do
normal
his
job.
thing, yeah.
And then Serped to print to do that. All right, I think we're good. All right, really appreciate everybody. Thank you for sticking around for that.
Yeah,
Just, you know,
thank you, guys.
you might be hearing from us on that front, so.
Be available.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. So moving on to agenda item 8, we have an easy one. Discussion and vote whether to approve the open session minutes from 4/24/2025 and 3/3/2025.
Motion made?
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Lynn?
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes. All right, agenda item 9, discussion and vote whether to accept the following donations for Earth Day 2025. A, Borges Brothers Trucking, Inc., $500. B, Bradford Steel Co., Inc., $100. C, Copart of Connecticut, Inc., $1,000. And Stop and Shop for $1,000. Thank you very much for these donations, and we appreciate it. Any questions or concerns?
No.
Yes, I have a comment. Everyone get out and help us out. Let's go.
Yep. Awesome.
Step up. We have plenty of shirts to give out. Let's go. Clean up town.
Perfect. All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the donations listed in the agenda A through D.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes. Agenda item 10, discussion and vote whether to approve the decrease in the number of parade and fireworks committee members to 11. Which I read this and I was like, 11's still a big number.
Yeah. Well, we went to 13 a couple of years back because
Yeah.
I was added to it, and so was another individual, Sam Downs, because they needed help with the parade. We didn't want to have it a third year in a row, no parade. So we're like, we're having a parade. So this year we had people just too busy with their daily lives that they couldn't commit that much time, right? We have about 6 more meetings, 7 meetings before the 4th of July. Then 4th of July, the parade and the fireworks is quite a bit of an undertaking, right? So
Of course.
to get a quorum at 13 is just sometimes impossible. So going back to the original number before I came into it was the reasonable thing to vote on at the last meeting.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
Absolutely.
All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the decrease in the number of parade and fireworks committee members to 11.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And so you guys know, before we go off the parade, it is 250 years this year.
Oh, wow.
Celebrating America, and I'm thinking about it. Hot dog eating contest, pie eating. Get ready, Selectmen. Maybe a challenge card. Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes, that's funny. All right, agenda item 11, discussion and vote whether to approve the health insurance rates for fiscal year 2026.
Yeah, so the insurance advisory committee had not met because I was trying to put our insurance out to quote to get cheaper rates. Which I wasn't able to do. So, we just got these rates last year. They haven't voted, but generally, I mean, they just vote to recommend them to.
There's nothing we can do about them.
So it's just you can, I mean, I don't know what else they would vote on, but you could always vote subject to their recommendation, which I'm sure they will get. This is exactly what they've had in the past. I've added, a plan at the $300 deductible plan based on my negotiation with 4 of the 5 unions, that new employees would be on that plan as opposed to our premium preferred plan. And then the $2,000 deductible plan came in last year because if we don't offer something less expensive, we have to, not only do we pay 75% of the insurance, but we have to pay a penalty to the IRS of $12,000 a year. So it's a necessity to have that less expensive plan on there. So the only thing I've done is add plans, but I haven't changed, or not that this is the same insurance they've always had, Blue Cross Blue Shield, same package, other than what's being offered to new employees under their union contracts.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
It's gone up almost 10%, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, it's terrible, but is what happens.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's tough, you know.
So you just make a motion to accept the insurance rates subject to recommendation from the Insurance Advisory Committee. That's the vote I would take.
Okay, well, I'll entertain that motion.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes.
If they come back with something different, I'll bring it back in front of the board.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not expecting that, though.
Yep. All right, Agenda item 12, discussion of vote whether to approve the engagement letter from Roselli,
Yeah,
Clark
that's our-
and Associates for a single audit for 2025 in the sum of $5,000. And this is required because we hit a certain threshold.
Because
for
of the
grant
amount
money.
of grant money, if, once you hit $750,000 of federal grant money, you have to do a single audit.
Okay.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing.
Yep.
I don't, all right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the engagement letter for the single audit, 2025, in the sum of $5,000.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes,
Yes on an audit.
Selectman Zager,
Yes.
Selectman Matthews.
Yes. All right, agenda item 13, discussion of vote and next steps. Surplus radios did not sell on Municipid. That stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried, if you remember, we tried to drop the amount so that this wouldn't happen, because this is what we always talk about. It's like, just get everything at a low starting bid.
Who would have won 30-year-old radios? Come on.
But
I think
didn't,
they're really old. I even called, I think I reached out to Monty, who does a lot of our radio work, and he's like, I don't even have any use for them. I don't have anybody on them anymore, you know? But I would just say to donate them, maybe there's another town that can use them.
Yeah, I think donate,
Town, even like maybe even the mountain bike association, and they're going through the woods. I don't know. Every
they're
member.
probably huge.
Oh yeah, they're the bulky ones, huh?
I don't know. Or
I don't even know they'll
maybe
play.
Monty will take them if they're
Yeah.
free, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, so we'll,
Chuck said that Monty would take them if we wanted to donate them to them.
okay,
Yeah.
so we'll just put them up to donation.
Maybe this.
we have to
as the
declare them as
schools-
surplus.
I think we already did.
Oh, we didn't at that? I didn't, oh, yeah. Yeah, it was declare as surplus and decide what to do with them, so now we're just changing what we're deciding to do.
Yeah.
Do I have to say who we're gonna donate them to? Or just donate them at
East Coast Electronics.
East Coast Electronics? Okay. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to donate the radios to East Coast Electronics.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes.
Yes.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
Selectman Matthews.
Yes. All right, agenda item 14, this one's cool. Discussion and vote whether to approve the presentation on the Bridgewater Triangle at the police station community room on October 17th, 2025, from 5 to 10 p.m.
So this is gonna be given by Tim Weisberg, he's the host of Spooky South Coast. Figured something fun for Halloween time.
Yeah.
For Halloween time. We had him here last year and he was great. He did haunted objects and he allowed people to bring in whatever they thought was haunted and he would do an investigation. So it was just a fun time and we figured something, like a talk that's about around here would be really cool. And I do it with Nicole from the library as
Yeah,
well.
I think that's perfect. And I think I saw him at the Chamberlain Farms
Oh, yeah?
do, and it was really interesting. It was,
Yeah, he's a good guy. He was doing a live thing today from the train. He took it from like 4 o'clock in the morning when it started in New Bedford, all the way to Boston and back.
oh yeah.
That was his whole thing today. So maybe he'll tell us some spooky trails on the stops along the train. We never know.
All right, great. Well, we look forward to it, and thank you for putting that together. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the presentation on the Bridgewater Triangle, the police station, community room on 10/17/2025 from 5 to 10 p.m.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes.
Yes.
Selectman Zager.
Yes.
Selectman Matthews.
Yes. Agenda item 15, discussion and vote whether to approve the proposal from Vertical Communications for the fire station.
This is just for the phone system for the new building.
Yep.
So am I reading this right? It's $100 a month now? Recurring charges for the trunk lines.
Yeah.
That's great.
I would say reoccurring charges,
I know
$100.
that Steve Maderas for the fire department's really been working on this.
It's what we do at all
The
the,
monthly license, it's gonna be just like the
Yeah,
town
it's gonna be
hall one.
$100 a month. It's $15,000 to install the system and then $100 a month and
and it was the same thing we just looked at for here. And it was the same thing with the reoccurring charges, yeah.
Yeah, it'll pay for itself over time.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's the same thing we have at the town hall as well.
All right. So, any questions or concern? We good?
No.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proposal from from Vertical Communications for fire station.
Motion made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes. All right,
Do
now.
we want to do board and parks, so
Yeah, I
Kyle
was
can
gonna
lead?
say.
Yes.
There you go. All right, so agenda item number 19, discussion and vote, whether to approve the park signage for Hathaway Park kayak storage area. Welcome, Kylie. So, we did get some, updated signage. I think it all looks good, but I don't know if you want to talk anything in specifics to it, or no?
No, not really. There have been some kayaks that are left there unattended, which, I mean, there is no signage there, so how did anyone know? The only issue I have is, do you do after the signage is there? Like, when it's like subject to removal, if someone's assigned that slot, what happens afterwards? Like, if someone takes their slot and they haven't applied?
So are there still currently, I know there was some stuff going back and forth, and there was like 2 of them there that were just sitting there, and no one knew who they belonged. Are they still there?
Yes.
They are.
I think there's 3 now.
Yeah, I got
Oh.
an email from someone saying there's a canoe there too.
Yeah.
All right, so what I would say is we put up the signage, and then we should probably talk with the chief. I wonder if there's a way to like sticker them or something to do something, or if we can do something, I don't know. I'm just trying to think,
Big
because if
orange
people
sticker,
think
or-
that they don't know that, it's, or they're not paying attention, and they feel like they've been putting it here for the past 6 months, they come back and they put it up, they don't even pay attention to the signage. Signage is great, but you need someone to read the signage in order for it.
Do we do like a time limit, right? It's only what, 6 spots, right?
I believe there's 8.
8 spots, so so there's probably more than 8 kayaks, right? I have 6 at my house, right? So, for reference, right? So we each have them go kayaking. So, we put a time limit on there.
I think there is one.
It's
If
for the
they-
season, isn't it?
Right,
You
like
rent
shorter
a
than the
spot.
season, this is what, you can use the rack throughout the season, but you can't use it longer than a 48-hour period at a time.
How many people did we have try and pull permits for it, do we know? No, I mean, you don't have to know that, it's fine, but I'm just curious, I mean, I didn't hear anything that, oh, can we hurry up and put additional stuff there, because there was a huge pull on people trying to do it and no space to put it. So I don't know that we need to shrink it down at this point. I mean, that might be a good idea if all of a sudden we have 40 people trying to put kayaks there and only 8 spots. My thoughts, my concern's more around as to what you're talking about right now. We have 3
Right.
things sitting there. We don't know who they belong to, and they don't belong there.
So could we lock them up? Like in there, like I don't know what it actually looks like, but I was thinking like if they're unused ones that people don't have credit to, if there's a mechanism that we can lock them so no one can put anything there until someone
They come and get a key.
come and
or
get a key
something.
for it, right? And then the ones that are there that no one's claimed, we lock them and say, if you're trying to get in here, contact the town. More than happy to give you a permit for it, or you know.
I'm sure people put them there just thinking they could, not like.
Yeah, of
not
course.
Meaning to not do it. One thing on the sign that I wanted to talk about is the last sentence that says, or visit the town hall or council on aging for an application. We have no idea what the application is, so I don't really want you sending people to the town hall, because we're just gonna be all looking at each other like, what do we do with this? So
Yeah.
I think the online thing, or maybe, to contact like your email or something, but
Like your
if you
town
send them
email,
to
yeah.
the town hall, we're gonna be like, we don't know, the clerk's gonna be like, we don't know, we don't know what's going on. So I'm concerned with that, I don't want people chasing their tail, trying to figure out how to get one. So that was my only comment on that, but my guess is the people have put kayaks there because the rack is there and they didn't know they needed a permit.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, that makes
So
sense.
they're
Yeah,
just
I don't
sitting
think that there was someone doing it with ill intent, but I guess that's my issue, right? Is like, what do we
there. But I
do
like the
because
idea of them
signage?
having to unlock something to put it there and they could get the key from the town. And
Mm-hmm.
I do think that they will be widely used once people realize that they're there to use, because a lot of people kayak from there.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a truck to bring a kayak, you know, there's ways you get it in a car, trust me, but you don't wanna be driving it up and down.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I was just thinking, I might go kayaking this week.
All right.
I mean, I'm okay with the sign, with the exceptions of what Debbie said. So that helps that, but then we just really, I think we do need to figure out something, some way to let the residents know about the existing canoe and kayaks that are there. So I don't know if there's a way for us to talk, I don't know if you can go to the police chief. I mean, I don't think there's anything we need to vote on specifically, but we need to maybe talk with the police chief and see if there's something we can do, some sort of mechanism. And then maybe also we can look into, I do like Selectman Matthews' idea of maybe finding a way to lock them up so that someone, and then have a master key to each one. When they get the permit, we give them a key that allows them to open that. And then,
Pros
that
and
way-
cons, pros and
Yeah.
cons.
I know, we're complicating it. It's supposed to be something that's simple and beneficiary to the residents, so we don't want to make it too
Classic government,
complicated.
we're just making things.
Right.
So I mean, I think we'll kick back on that, but I think for now, I say, I'm okay with the signage with that last part. Do you guys
The only,
agree
the only
with that?
adage to the signage, trying to make it more convenient, is there any way to add a QR code?
Yeah.
To the application, that way people can, instead of trying to type it in with the wet hands or a kayak, you
Yeah.
can take a quick snap and on your way you
That's
go.
a good idea.
So,
Yep.
All right. So with that, I entertain a motion to approve the park signage for Hathaway Park kayak storage, with the added QR code and removal of the bottom call-outs for Town Hall and Council on Aging.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes.
And then, agenda item number 20, discussion and vote whether to approve outdoor movie nights at 39 Memorial Drive, East Freetown on 8/15/25, 8/29/25, 9/26/25 from 5 to 10 p.m. So, went over well in the past and
Yeah.
kind of looking to build off it this year. Yeah.
Exactly. I thought I was on jumping the gun, starting early planning, and then I reached out to the rental guy that we got the movies from, and he's like already booked up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so quick. I was like, I'll take whatever dates you have at this point. So we're planning for something else in October. But yeah, it went well, really well last year. And actually, it's kind of better that it's not in October because it got kind of cold.
Yeah. October's risky.
Yeah.
It got chilly.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell blankets, but didn't really work.
Yeah, but it went really well, so I'm excited to do it again.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't see any downside to this. I think this is like little wins for the residents, right? Something that's easy enough I say it's easy, and it's easy for me to sit here and say how easy it is to do, but I'm saying it's something different that the residents can buy into, and I'm sure there was a lot of kids, right, from.
Yeah, no,
and everything.
all three events, both events, actually the third one we
Got-
canceled. Weather or wind, it was the wind. We had well over 100 people at the events, right, on average, and especially the second one, which was colder, right? People started, as it got colder and colder, I mean, it dropped pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But Hocus Pocus 2, it was still a hit,
That's awesome.
And the first one, I think, didn't get the numbers because Netflix had just released it. I think it was, what is it, the
Migration.
Migration. Yeah, Netflix had just sent it out a week or two before, and then I think people were just like, oh, we already watched that one. But these all being in the summertime in August, I think it's gonna do very well.
But I also think that it also builds off, right? So someone who came last year had a positive experience, now comes this year, they remember taking their kids there, right? So I appreciate all the efforts. I know residents appreciate your job
Yeah,
well
no, these
done.
are the things that make a community, so I think it's
Absolutely.
awesome, so.
So,
Thank you.
all right, with that, I entertain a motion to approve the outdoor movie nights at 39 Memorial Drive, East Freetown, as dates mentioned before.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tyler.
Kick it over to Selectman Lopes. for
All right.
personnel.
I got a treat for you guys on this one. All right, item agenda 16, acknowledge the resignation of A, Ronnie Freitz as equipment operator effective 3/21/2025, and B, Elvis Cody as call firefighter EMT effective 3/13/2025. I'd like to say thank you very much for both of you for everything you've done for the town. That was my impression for the night. All right. Item agenda 17, rescind the appointment of Robin Kendrick as Public Records Clerk, Council of Aging Board. Thank you, Robin, for all the work you've done. All right. Item agenda 18, discussion and vote whether to approve the following appointments. A, Nancy Durfee as Town Planner, effective 3/25/2025 through 6/30/2025. B, Nina Dumont as Senior Clerk, Board of Health and Building Departments, effective 3/25/2025 through 6/30/2025. C, Brenda Mata as Public Records Clerk, Council of Aging Board, 3/24/2025 through 6/30/2025. D, Melanie King to Parading Fireworks Committee, effective 3/24/2025 through 6/30/2025. And E, Alicia Lynn Boyven to Council of Aging Library Community Building Committee, effective 3/24/2025 through 6/30/2025. I've spoken and to every one of them, great people. Any questions, comments, objections?
No?
All right.
Excited. Awesome.
I entertain the motion to approve item agenda 18, individuals identified as A through E for their effective appointments.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes.
Selectman Lopes, I think you need to go back to 17 and vote.
Rescind the 17?
Yeah. You have to vote on rescission?
Oh, yeah, I don't think we did vote the rescission. I think you just,
Oh, it didn't.
Oh, we
it
just
didn't-
acknowledged
yeah,
it.
we
right?
acknowledge it.
Acknowledge
Okay.
it.
Good catch, Deb.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to item agenda, Personnel Board, item 17, the rescission, the appointment of Robin Kendrick as Public Records Clerk, Council of Aging Board. I entertain the motion to rescind the appointment of Robin Kendrick as Public Records Clerk for Council of Aging Board.
Make that motion.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes. All right, we'll sign and then adjourn.
First cassette tape I ever bought when I was a child was Elvis' Greatest Hits.
I don't know what,
The radio?
this is me or
Wait,
not.
showing your age.
Yeah, yeah.
Make it a mess.
First cassette tape, the old
Sure.
boom box.
Fireworks.
Yes. That's right.
Insurance rates.
250 years.
Just me, just anywhere? Not anywhere, where it says sign.
There you go. That is the zoning product on it. Two documents, this is just two for the vertical forms of the fire station.
Oh, wait, this one, I heard her say is just you, right? So
Nope,
No, that one,
is it? Yep,
it's just,
yep, shoot that back.
sorry.
Good.
This one and
Yeah.
these three are just me.
Mhm. This one as well, it's just you. Back to everybody, that's Nancy Durfee's appointment. There's Nina Dumont. Brenda. Melanie Jones. Emily Shipper.
We meet on, April
She was
9th.
already on there, wasn't she?
Yep,
She was an alternate, now she's a member.
okay. All signed?
You're good.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
motion made?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Selectman Lopes?
Yes.
Selectman Zager?
Yes.
Selectman Matthews?
Yes.